Hello, this is day 8 of 30 days of healing. And let me tell you, this has been one of those circumstances where spirit, angel, guides, whatever you want to call them, decided that I needed to learn what today's talk would be about the hard way, i.e., through experience. So, first of all, I can tell you that the theme for today's talk is about patience and trust in our intuition, in our spirit guides, you name it. And the reason how this came about, firstly, was through these recordings. So several times today, no joke, I sat down, I was in my study, it was quiet, the kids were occupied, my husband was at work, and I had nothing to worry about. And I went, good, now's a perfect time to record the meditation. And I got nothing. There was not a single word from my spirit guides about what today was supposed to be about. And that happened at least 3 times today. And then I went, okay, fine, have it your way. And then I tried really hard. I was like, well, maybe I'm not listening enough. All the other days dropped in quickly. And I think there was a bit of self-fulfilling prophecy going on. I was thinking, oh, well, I knew I couldn't do 30 days. I didn't have 30 days worth of stuff to share. And not trusting in that connection that I have with my spirit guides, that they're the ones leading the show. As in everything I do, from the healings to the A Year of Healing meditation group, they run the show. They tell me when to record it. They tell me what to say. And obviously, like in this case, I go through learnings of my own during the day to figure out what the message is sometimes. And for my own growth and healing, obviously, they're not just being mean. So 3 times today, I was ready, prepared, set to do this recording, and nothing happened. Hello, Laurel. Good to have you live with us. And then I moved on to other things, and I went to get dinner ready for my family, and everything I touched, no joke, everything I touched, either spilled, made a mess, did something it wasn't supposed to, and I went, okay, angels, like 1 or 2 things spilling is fair enough, but it was like everything. I said, is today's theme for the meditation going to be spilling things? And then I realized it wasn't. It was patience, because I wasn't having patience. I was trying to rush getting dinner ready because I was hungry, but also because I wanted to get back to work. I was in the middle of typing up a healing summary that has taken them at least a week, if not more, to come through and give me exactly what I was supposed to share with this healing client. And I was excited that I was ready to sit down and give her the feedback from what happened during her healing. And I kept getting interrupted. And I said, what's the deal? What's the deal with the spilling? What's the deal with me being ready to record and you having nothing to say? What's the deal with everything? Every time I go to sit down to do this healing meditation summary, I'm getting interrupted. Obviously, you guys are trying to tell me something, spit it out, right? And because I then tuned in that way with the spirit guides, they came back and they went, well, first of all, patience, my dear. And secondly, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, is that as human beings, we are so quick to assume or to, I don't even know if assume is the right word, just try to put things on our time frame. And the angels get really frustrated with us about this, because when we're trying to do things on our time frame, we're pushing, right? We're going, I can do this at this time in this way, and I expect this to happen. And yeah, sure, sometimes it happens, and sometimes it is for our highest good that it does happen at that time. But other times the angels have a different thing in mind for us. And they know that, for example, if we get stuck behind slow-moving cars, that it might be them preventing us from a car accident. Or that if someone frustrates us, that we're going to learn about ourselves. So likewise, when everything started spilling all over my kitchen, I decided to just stop and take a breath and remind myself a mantra that I've been using for years, starting from when I ran a parenting support company for, I was a coach for parents with challenging children or very energetically sensitive children. And one of the quotes I gave parents in that handbook was, there is plenty of time for everything I need to do today. There is plenty of time for everything I need to do today. And the amazing thing is, when you really absorb that mantra, take a deep breath and think about it. Time slows. And you have time to do everything you wanted to do in that day. And you might even find you have spare time left over. And hi, Amy. That's what the guides were trying to tell me. I think I've sent Amy this quote recently, actually. So that was really, really good for me to go, okay, if there's plenty of time for everything that I need to do today, and everything spilling in this kitchen was to teach me about patience, what is it about this healing summary that I've not been allowed to finish typing up? And they said, because you're processing still. So I was allowed to do the first piece last night of putting together her healing summary, and then I got interrupted, and then both my kids weren't feeling well, so I had to go do mom, play nurse, and then by the time I got finished all of that, I just went to bed. And then I woke up this morning and did the next piece, and my goodness, the downloads in typing up this healing summary blew my mind of what was going on for both my learning and the client that I was doing it for. And I had this huge realization around what I'd learned. And then I got interrupted again, and it was the dinner hour, and it was this, and it was that. And all I wanted to do was finish this healing summary for this beautiful client and get it done. And also, of course, learn more about everything that they wanted to share during it. And I kept getting taken away from it. And they said, you're not ready yet. You've got to process that piece, that huge chunk that we just gave you. Process that first. And then you'll be ready to finish the summary later. Trust in us. Trust in our timing. Trust. Like, seriously, you would think after 52 weeks of channeling meditations from the angels and guides, when they tell me to trust them, I would have figured that out by now. But our human nature, our monkey mind is so busy with the must do, must have, must complete, must be a certain type of person. And it isn't to our highest good. Amy just shared, this is a constant lesson in my life, but today we are resting, no jobs. Beautiful, good. I like no jobs. Yes, it is a constant lesson to remember that there's plenty of time for everything that we need to do today. And so this trusting that we need to come back to is that not just when we feel overwhelmed and overburdened and unsure should we be turning to our angels and guides for help or listening to our higher self and asking them for help. It's actually a matter, and higher self is also intuition, if people aren't sure about that expression. It's also about trusting in our intuition, our higher selves, our angels and guides, the signs and signals around us when everything's quiet, as well as when everything's rushed. Because if we really tune into that, the messages are around us constantly. There's a lot of us in the Year of Healing group that noticed round about maybe a third of the way through the course, we were constantly seeing number patterns, 222 or 555 or something to do with numbers somewhere. And there's a couple people in the course that are very tuned into nature, and they get a lot of animal signs, which was really good for me because I started looking for more animal signs as well. Like if there's always a robin redbreast outside my window, it's not just because I live in the country. It's because it has a message for me and I'm not listening to it. So we start to see these signs where they're guiding us in our daily life. And we open our eyes to the potential, the possibility of the bigger picture, and that there are messages there for us. And it's funny because when I was getting really impatient with the guides that they weren't telling me what to share with you today, the third time I was getting impatient, I was in the shower because with this getting a back tattoo in particular, there's no way to wash it 3 times a day without getting physically in the shower. And I was getting impatient with that and how that takes time because then it has to air dry and blah, 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 right? Meanwhile, I freaking had Archangel Metatron and Archangel Michael talking to me through the whole time I had the tattoo. And they were the ones who told me to get it as a sign from them that I was under their protection and guidance and whatever, and working closely with them which is such an honor. So yeah, the inconvenience of a shower, who the hell cares, right? So I was stepping out of the shower and trying to force the message to come that I was supposed to share with you today. And I realized that today was day 8. And I love the number 8. It's a new one for my awareness. I see a hell of a lot of 5s and 2s, but today I was thinking about the number 8. And they did let me play around with that and gave me a couple things that I was supposed to share with you. And that is, number 8 is one of the easy numbers in numerology to remember what it means. Because if you turn it on its side, it's a infinity symbol. And of course, infinity is never ending. And so the number 8 is about abundance. Abundance of love, abundance of health, abundance of wealth, whatever it is that you want more abundance of in life. There it is. That's what the number 8 is telling us, right? And so today being day 8, I'm thinking, yeah, great. It's an abundance of patience, an abundance of lessons around patience. But they want me to share with you to think about abundance and the number 8 and let you know that right now we are going through this time of rest and rejuvenation and really thinking about what are we passionate about in our lives? What are our goals that make us happy? What fulfills us in our heart space? And when we're thinking of that in conjunction with the number 8 and patience and trust, putting all the messages together, it's about there being an abundance of support. Oh, I like that. They just told me that. Abundance of support from our angels and guides, that when we are fulfilling our heart and soul purpose, they are with us. There are boundless support networks around us. There's an abundance of messages. There's an abundance of resources for us to achieve what our heart truly, truly desires. And you can tell I'm probably getting emotional about that because that is a big deal to me. Feeling like I'm on purpose when I help other people. That this calling that I gave up my 15 years experience as a high school teacher for and went on to be a life coach, and that didn't quite fit. And then did all my training in spirituality and Reiki and crystal healing and metaphysics, that I wasn't just throwing money at more courses, that I was finding myself and finding my soul purpose and the way that I can truly help other people, which is what I've always wanted to do my entire life, is to make other people's lives better. And so I encourage you to do the same, to think about what is that core value, that core feeling that makes you on the verge of tears when you think about it, the one thing that you've always desired. And what are the steps that you can take towards it once you truly deep down trust your angels and guides and your intuition to guide you on the right path. And then have patience that it'll come to fruition. I was guided to read an Abraham Hicks poster last night when I was sorting out some stuff that basically said, you cannot have the feeling of the desire of what you want and the feeling that you're not getting it at the same time. Because if you put out both those opposing energies, it can't happen. And so as we think, man, all I want is more money. All I want is perfect health. All I want is happiness for my children, for my family, for myself. I want to find peace within. And then if in the next thought, we're looking for all the things that are going wrong, that are showing that we don't have that peace, we don't have that abundance, we don't have that perfect health, then we're not going to find it. Because it's forever going to elude us. We cannot send opposing vibrations out to the universe and expect them to figure out which one to pick to throw out back at us. And that's what I want you to think about today, is once you believe it and once you desire it and you put that desire out, to stay patient and to hold fast and to trust that eventually, when the timing's right and when you're ready, that everything will come together for your highest good and you will achieve that abundance of the infinity sign of the number 8. Lots of love and angel blessings to you all. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to comment below if you have something to share. Share this with your friends. It's a public post. Go crazy. And I'll be uploading them in batches to my YouTube page if you'd like to or prefer to see them there. Thank you so much. Take care. Mwah.